We'll get everybody together on Monday, tomorrow. We're bringing them all back. We got a big week ahead of us of work before you begin all the celebrations on the weekend. Much more left to do. We've got the National Defense Authorization Act. We have appropriations where we're spending less money and doing it more efficiently and effectively. We have the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act we've got to reauthorize. We've got the Surface Transportation Bill. Many really important pieces of legislation. And, of course, Reconciliation 3.0. I got to have everybody working here on all cylinders, and I'm excited to bring them back.
House Speaker Mike Johnson detailing to Maria the legislative week ahead. The House is in session this week, but there's only 12 legislative days left before the August recess. Massive push to get the Save America Act passed before the midterms. The election integrity legislation has passed the House multiple times, but it hasn't even been brought up for a vote in the Senate. Speaker Johnson telling Maria yesterday about the new plan to get it through the Senate. Watch this.
We're going to pass it again, and this time we're going to try to put it on a reconciliation bill. And the reason that's so important, Maria, as you know, is it prevents the necessity of 60 votes in the Senate. The Democrats want no part of this. And remember, this is very basic stuff. We're just going to make sure you have to have proof of citizenship to register to vote, and then show an ID when you turn out at the ballot box. These are 90-10 public opinion issues, and more than 70% of Democrats want to do it, but not the Democrats in the House and Senate. And so we've got to go around them. And I told Anna Paulina Luna and a couple other colleagues, I said, it makes no sense for us to shut down our good work in the House just because Senate Democrats refuse to do the people's will. We've got a lot more to do. We've got to keep it going.
Joining me now is South Carolina Congressman Russell Fry. Congressman, House Republicans are frustrated that the upper chamber is not voting on the Save America Act. Is a third reconciliation bill the way to get the legislation through?
House Republicans' frustration is absolutely real. I think we share the frustration that we hear from our constituents, that this is something that is so fundamentally easy to do. Require citizenship to vote, produce an ID to vote. Many states already have this, so the Senate should pick it up. We've already done this multiple times, and maybe again. Reconciliation is a vehicle. I am concerned a little bit that you can't put policy in a reconciliation bill. And so can you tie funding, say with HAVA grants or others, to compliance with the Save America Act? Maybe you could. I just want to make sure that it survives the bird bath. That is my biggest intent, that this is not a fruitless exercise. And so if there is a will, and certainly there is one, and if there's a way to include this in a reconciliation bill, I'm all for it. I just want to make sure that we're in good faith doing this, and that it is not a ruse and it's not going to fail by the Senate parliamentarian.
Well, you heard Speaker Johnson. I mean, there's a lot on the table. Can you get this all done this week? I mean, it's not just FISA. You've got several 2027 funding bills you've got to go through, defense policy bill. There's a kids online safety bill. I mean, all of this is on the docket for this week. Can you get all of this completed?
Well, I hope so. A lot of the stuff is good. The NDAA has got some great provisions in there. It's the pay raise for our troops. It kind of makes sure that we are continuing to counter China, funds our national security priorities in a way. And so I'm hopeful that we can. But last week I was incredibly frustrated that the House really didn't do anything. The best thing to come out of Washington last week was the Supreme Court cases that came out. Those were really great for the conservative movement and really the rule of law. So I'm hopeful. I hope that Speaker Johnson, and I know that he's capable and has done a great job. But I think he is right, and certainly the president is right when he said last week, let's stop getting in our own way here. Let's get this job done. When we have these disagreements within the Republican conference, let's resolve those at the negotiating table. But let's march forward. The voters of this country expect nothing less. They want us to deliver results. Now it's on us to do the job.
Well, it's on the Senate. And, even Senator Tom Tillis yesterday was saying that getting Save America Act is an impossible task. We've heard that from Senator Thune. So we'll see. We're going to be watching everything today, obviously. Also, there's this I wanted to ask you about. New files released by former DNI Tulsi Gabbard show that officials shielded Dr. Anthony Fauci from a whistleblower complaint filed under the Biden administration, alleging that he had lied to Congress about funding gain-of-function research. Senator Rand Paul's been leading the charge on this. He was on with Maria yesterday on the new evidence. Listen to what he told her.
What have you learned about Anthony Fauci's role in COVID-19? And what we now know beyond a reasonable doubt is that Anthony Fauci did indeed fund gain-of-function research. We have the evidence that the experiments were gaining in function. The viruses were becoming more lethal, more attachable to human cells, and more infectious. We do know that this was going on, that was funded by the NIH, specifically under the tutelage of Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci was able to coerce, cajole, persuade, and dangle money to get people in the intelligence community to change their vote. So a scientific commission within the CIA voted 6-1 to say it came from the lab. He somehow was able to get that change. We have evidence of that happening. The virologists that he handpicked that were big recipients of federal dollars, all of them initially were saying it looks like it was manipulated. We now have evidence that in January of 2020, that he was already acknowledging that the virus did not come from the wet market.
Congressman, you've questioned Dr. Fauci before during a congressional hearing, and Senator Paul did issue a subpoena for him to appear before the Senate Homeland Security Committee. Do you think that he should appear before the House as well?
110%. Dr. Fauci really is the arsonist that started this fire and then tried to snuff it out, making himself look like the hero of America, when in fact he was the one that started it, covered it up, and lied about it to the American people. I think accountability, unfortunately, he's been preemptively pardoned by President Biden, but he should absolutely come in and truthfully answer these questions. Obviously, the Trump administration has had some accountability on other individuals that were tied in this orbit, but Dr. Fauci should expect to have a seat in front of Congress.
All right. Well, we're going to be watching for that. That would certainly be fireworks, to say the least. So let me ask you about this. We've talked a lot about fraud on this network. The FBI announced it's captured alleged fraudster Herbert Leon Kimball in the Philippines. He's accused of running a $1.2 billion Medicare fraud conspiracy. He allegedly evaded authorities for nearly 2 years. The Vice President Vance's task force has been working very hard to go after fraud, eliminate it in sectors like Medicare, other federal benefit systems, Congressman. But what more can Congress do to not just eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in these programs, but is there other ways that we can, frankly, track these fugitives, many who, like this gentleman, have left the country, as well as the funds that have left this country that many say has been used to buy properties in, say, Africa, for example. They converted the cash to crypto. Is there a path forward for the American taxpayer to recover what has been stolen from them?
I think so. I think we got to fund it and make sure that within our own budgets that there is adequate enforcement mechanisms and personnel to go after these fraudsters. That's absolutely paramount to what the administration is doing. And I think the American people would really, in a bipartisan way, support this. I think there are efforts in Congress to really strengthen the guardrails, right? Our states do not talk to each other from a data perspective. They don't talk with the federal government. Making states in line from a parity perspective with eliminating this fraud at the very beginning, I think, is really crucial. So pulling in states like California or Minnesota, who are really kicking and screaming while this is going on, I think is absolutely equally important in doing that. So there's a lot of things that you can do, especially with technology these days, from facial recognition to make sure that you are who you say that you are. These are easy ways that the American people would support that would eliminate fraud before it even started.
And when it comes to the tracking, again, using the power of the U.S. Treasury to do that. Before you go,
Absolutely.
I do want to ask you about this. America 250 celebrations are kicking off, of course, in Washington. The Great American State Fair is going to run on the National Mall through July 10th. Not every state, though, is feeling patriotic. At least 11 states have opted out of sending representatives to the fair. Massachusetts, North Carolina, Washington, Illinois, Oregon, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Hawaii. They're all saying budget and staffing issues are preventing them from showing up. Maine declining over heavy summer schedules. Vermont says it's going to focus on its own state congressman. Pennsylvania, no official state involvement. And many of these, say that, well, we'll send local figures. But what is your reaction to that? I mean, we're celebrating the birth of our nation, 250 years, and some of these states are not willing to participate. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's incredibly unfortunate. Most of these states are obviously blue states, and so I really laugh when they say that budgetary constraints disallow them from coming to the Capitol. Look, 250 years isn't just another birthday. It's a celebration of an incredible milestone. The Constitution is really the oldest living document that we have in the world that's still in existence, that's still operational. We look at the trials and tribulations of America from its inception through the Civil War, through World War I and II, the strengths that we have, and things that we have added to the world stage, massive advances in medicine and technology, putting a man on the moon. This country is worth celebrating. The past is worth celebrating with an optimistic eye to the future. And so this is not a 42-state experiment or a 39-state experiment. This is a 50-state experiment that has survived and withstood the test of time. I think every state should be represented there. And if they aren't, look, there's private donors that would totally do this. They just have to ask.
Yeah,
and they haven't done that.
And I liked your post on X. To the left, TDS virtue signaling more important than, let's see, check notes, 250 years of perseverance, grit, and freedom. It's a good post I saw on X. Thank you, Congressman, for being with me.
Thanks,
Congressman
Cheryl.
Russell Fry. It's great to see you as always.